Okay. Bye, Wendy.
Well, good evening, viewers. So we are back with a live session with our own Mr. Saurabh Smar, the registered migration agent. His MARN number is 1802044, and we both are representing Global Vision Migration Consultancy. Hello, Saurabh. How are you?
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Saurabh here, and thanks, Ankur, for introducing me. As you know, my name is Saurabh Smar. I'm a registered migration agent, and my migration agent registration number is 1802044. So, as always, we do have these 5 p.m. live Facebook webinars on every Friday, where we discuss about the new migration updates, and new updates in regards to the COVID-19 and any other recent update that actually affects international students or skilled migrants across Australia. Yeah.
So, viewers, if you'll be having any sort of question, please do post your questions. Just hammer your questions to Mr. Saurabh Smar. I'm pretty much sure he will be happy to answer all the questions. However, we actually mentioned in our last live that migration is actually full of recent changes and is a continuous process of law changing, right? So we coming back to that same process that changes is always progressive, and all our skilled migrants, those who are actually waiting for states to open their migration nomination program, we are back on the same track. Victoria recently announced that they are coming back into the same track, and they'll be starting they actually announced that they'll be starting giving the nominations to certain sort of people. So I'm just coming back. I'm going back to Saurabh. So would you please let us know that the recent changes in terms of the states? We talked about a few states last week, but in that in the week time, we received some more updates as well. Favorable updates, I should have to say. So would you mind start giving us some sort of insight for about the Victoria state nomination?
Yep.
Please.
Thanks for that, Ankur. Yeah, as we so Victoria recently they actually advised that they will be opening up on Tuesday, that is 8th of September 2020, next Tuesday. I repeat again, it's 8th of September 2020. So Victoria was actually the most anticipated nomination program, out of all the states and territories in Australia. And so they have actually finally advised that, because they were the one who actually refused hundreds of nominated occupation applications in the month of May, because they actually exhausted all their places. So pretty much in 2 days ago, they actually notified everyone that they will be reopening up their nomination program. So I'm pretty much going to give some information in regards to that, when it's going to actual starts and how the process is look like, and whether the person, they are actually eligible to apply for that. And also, I just want to let our viewers know that this information is actually only for education purpose only. And if you want to seek professional advice, I would recommend contacting your registered migration agent. All right. So in terms of Victoria, so they have actually advised that they will be opening up the program on 8th of September 2020. That's next Tuesday. And they will be aiming to actually nominate people who are actually currently working in health or medical research, or maybe the end where they are actually contributing to Victoria's economic recovery or health response. So there could be a lot of occupation that falls into this category. But the most important three aspects that they would be looking into is that the person must be currently living in Victoria, and they must be currently employed in Victoria as a minimum of 6 months. And they must work in a highly skilled occupation, either in health or medical research, which actually supports Victoria's economic recovery or health responses. So these three were the basic criteria, and the process that entails on how someone can actually apply for this is, first of all, they would actually have to apply for the expression of interest, and then they will have to apply for a registration of interest, that they are actually registering their interest in getting a nomination from Victoria. And also, as most of the people are already aware of that on 6th of October, that's the date where federal government will be allocating, will be releasing their federal budget. And on that day, they will be providing more nomination places to various states. So that means that, and then the Victoria will actually continue to nominate for 190 and 491 until 5th of October, even though they will stop receiving registration by 5 p.m. 21st of September. So if you look at this time frame, that they will only be opening up their registration of interest for only 14 days or less.
Oh, okay.
So in this regard, like if you are the person, who are actually thinking that you may be eligible, or you might be eligible, or you might not be, this is the time frame before where you can actually get your everything ready, get your documentation ready, and apply for the registration. So first you have to go through the EOI process, then registration, and then Victoria would determine whether your app registration is actually good enough for them to actually nominate. And if it is, then you would be invited to apply for the nomination process. And then once the nomination gets successful, you will be applying for your visa application.
So technically, it's actually a sort of three-way process. First, you need to go with your expression of interest (EOI), and then you need to register with the Victoria State. And then once upon, like the moment you'll be getting your invitation, then you need to lodge the visa, right?
Exactly. So and after that, so after if the registration process is successful, then they will actually invite people to apply for the nomination. And once the nomination process is successful, they will actually receive an invitation from the skill select to apply for their 190 or 491.
Okay. So viewers, as our registered migration agent, Mr. Saurabh Smar, just mentioned that the critical date, right? You need to understand the critical date, the 8th of September 2020. And then once the budget is going to be announced, then I think Saurabh is the 21st of October 2020.
Yes, it is.
So these are the two dates which viewers needs to like keep in mind. However, as just mentioned by the registered migration agent, that be ready with your documentation, so we'll be able to lodge your application for the EOI and the registration with the Victoria State. Saurabh, I would like to ask one question, right? You just mentioned that the skill select which the Victoria or any of the state at the moment they are looking for is looking for the health professionals, right? So what about the person who's actually working in a different field, but he is a professional?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So currently, as you can see, the trend in most of the states nomination as well, that they are actually looking for occupations who are actually either in health sector or ICT sector, or actually engineering field, which will actually help Australia boost their economy and get back onto the way where we were before. So pretty much, so there is a good chance for other occupations such as engineering technologists or engineers, or someone who's working in an IT sector in a medical research facility. Or so there's going to be it's the way how you actually be able to link your occupation to show Victoria that look, my occupation is actually assisting in in boosting or returning back to the economy state, or I'm actually, my skills are good enough, or I am actually assisting in bringing back the assisting in medical research, for example, medical laboratory scientists, as you can say. So that can be also be some kind of an occupation, just for an example, which could be a good occupation when it comes to medical research as well.
So technically, we are talking about the occupations, those who are actually in reality going to give a sort of boost to that particular
Exactly.
economy, right?
Absolutely.
Right, viewers, those who are actually listening us in Victoria at the moment and having any sort of questions related to their own personalized situation, as said that the whole the aim of giving this information is just the educational purposes. However, yes, we are happy to deal with your personalized situation. We request you to call us at 04300 and you can talk to our registered migration agent, Mr. Saurabh Smar. Well, coming back to the point and coming back to the recent changes, New South Wales actually recently announced their critical list, and they announced some sort of changes in their nomination stuff as well. So I would like Mr. Saurabh Smar to just enlighten us with regards to the same criteria. Saurabh.
Yep. So in regards to New South Wales, as most of the people already know, that they are actually the one who don't normally publish much information on their website. So they are like, so first they publish a bit of information, and then slowly they provide information. They feed information slowly to their candidates and the other in the migration industry. So what they have actually advised us that they will actually start their 190 visa nominations, specifically 190, not 491. They haven't actually advised anything about that yet. So they are currently not accepting any 491s at the moment. So most importantly, they are same like other states and territories. They have also been allocated interim places, small number of nominations for 190 and 491 by the federal government. So we recently we heard, like in a couple of days ago, that the previous 491 applications have actually been, they have started reviewing those applications, the one that were submitted before the July 2020. So they are actually looking after those 491 applications. And it comes to 190 nominations, they have clearly advised that they will be actually only inviting applicants who are currently working in health, ICT, and engineering occupation, and who currently reside in New South Wales. And how they're going to be looking into that is they will be actually checking everyone's expression of interest. They will look into that, and if the person do meet their criteria, then yes, you should expect an invitation soon.
So more or less same sort of the requirements they're actually throwing right at the moment, that they're looking for the professionals, those are into the critical sectors, the health and the engineers. Well,
And
technically,
the
back to the point, ICT as well, that the occupations, those are actually giving a sort of boost to the economy.
Yes, exactly. And because health sector occupations are actually quite important, so I'm feeling quite optimistic that they'll probably be inviting major chunk of their invitations to the health sector, and then the remaining one to the ICT and engineering. And if this is what all the states and the territories, this is the trend we can see right now. But when they actually come up with the more numbers up in after 6th of October, probably their take might change a little bit in terms of other occupations as well, such as the trade sectors as well, because they are also the lifeline of the economy, such as motor mechanic, carpenters, and chefs once the COVID-19 restrictions been eased up. So pretty much the hospitality sector would also tend to grow as well.
Well, viewers, technically, as far as from the government perspective or the point of view and the migration point of view, as has been said by our registered migration agent, Mr. Saurabh Smar, that government is at the moment, because of COVID-19, giving the priority to ICT, to health sector, and to the engineering professionals, but aiming forward, because every occupation is giving a boost to the economy, But aiming forward further in month of October, they are going to give the opportunity to everyone. So requesting you not to take any sort of like hard feelings. Yes, just is actually just for the time being because of COVID-19, but every person who's actually looking for an opportunity, the solution is going to be there. Am I right, Saurabh?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Saurabh. Let's just take this furthermore. Recently, I think day or 2 days back, we received another announcement from the ministers that they released a sort of priority skilled occupation list. What exactly is that, and how is going to affect or impact the migrants, like skilled migrants, those who are looking forward further for their permanent residency, and the
Hmm.
economy, and the other aspects as well. Saurabh.
Sure. So on 2nd of September, the acting minister for immigration, Honorable Ellen Tudge, he actually introduced a new priority skilled migration occupation list. People are calling it PMSOL. And so this occupation list is consist of 17 occupations, which have been considered that they are actually in high demand in healthcare, construction, and IT sectors, which will actually boost the health and economic responses to COVID-19. And most importantly, as previously, we have been receiving a lot of information and requests from. There are some medical profession practitioners and resident medical officers who are actually who went overseas, but they cannot travel back because they are on a temporary visas. But what's the good thing about is if your occupation falls in within these 17 occupations, you can actually request an exemption from Australia's travel restrictions. But upon arrival in Australia, you would actually have to undergo your 14 days of quarantine period at your own expense. So this is what the government has actually stated. And out of those 17 occupations, so there is a construction project manager, there are CEOs, mechanical engineers, there as usual there are nurses. The good part is they actually have introduced software engineer and developer programmer. So these two occupations were quite neglected occupations in the past, but apparently they have actually been very considered in this time in having them as well. And also really good news for a lot of RMOs, resident medical officers, who have actually been on 482 visas, working in various hospitals in Australia, but they cannot come back to Australia due to the COVID-19 travel restrictions. So they can now actually come back, provided they're still being sponsored by the Australian employer.
Oh, so technically, like these 17 occupations needs to be sponsored by the Australian employer, right?
In order for them to actually come back to Australia, be able to apply for a travel exemption.
Oh,
But
okay.
but as the minister has said that these occupations are considered to be very important, that will actually supercharge the economy. So we are anticipating that people in these sectors, they might be a good you know coming looking into the future, they might be able to receive some good news when it comes to general skill migration as well. But we're not 100% sure yet, so we would just have to see in the next couple of invitation rounds, to see how it goes about.
So viewers, as said by our registered migration agent, that if your occupation is out of those 17 occupations, which is actually on the priority, and having any sort of question related to that, you can please call us at 043 00 818 04. The number is coming actually underneath at this program as well. There's a direct number for Saurabh, and you can speak to Saurabh with your individual migration situation. Moving forward, well, labor market requirements. Recently, once again, I think it's not even 24 or 48 hours. They recently made few big announcements with regards to the new labor market requirements. So I think it's leading towards the employer nomination visas. If I'm not wrong, I'm not having like much of the information with regards to the visas. But yes, going back to Saurabh, Saurabh, would you like to please clear some sort of clouds out of this new labor market requirements, please?
Yeah, sure, Uncle. Thanks for that. So on 2nd of September, on the same day where the priority skill occupation list was actually introduced, um, the government actually introduced a legislative instrument. So that what that means is anytime if they want to change any migration regulations, they actually introduce a migration legislative instrument that actually helps them with a different kind of amendments to the migration law. So the similar instrument was actually introduced where there were some changes for the people who are actually willing to apply for subclass 457, subclass 482, 494 employer sponsored visa. So pretty much any visa that requires employer sponsorship. Plus, that also has a a labor market testing requirement where where the employer must advertise their position for at least 28 days. So the new requirement for that advertising was that the apart from previously you need to put an advertisement in two different job platforms. With this new requirement, they must be advertised on the Job Active website as well. So the Job Active website is actually a government recruitment website where they do actually government recruit people like the job seekers and the job people. They actually look into that, and this website is actually a national website, and it's get a lot of exposures as well. So that's pretty much the reason behind that as well. And another reason for that is that it must have at least, as we said, two advertisements in one of the mediums either, and one of the mediums must be a Job Active website. And it actually applies to all occupations, not just the occupations on the PMSOL list, the one that we discussed previously. And the last not the least, and it only applies to the nominations which will be made after 30th of September 2020. So this is very important, and then this particular requirement actually commenced from 3rd of September. That was yesterday, and it only applies to the nominations that would apply after 30th of September 2020.
Saurabh,
So
okay, yeah, sorry, please. Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you. Please.
yeah. So this is pretty much what it is when it comes to the new Job Active labor market testing update that was made out on 2nd of September. So it does not concern people who are already have a general skill migration visas or who are not seeking any employer sponsorship visas. As we discussed in our last webinar, where we discussed about this the employer sponsored options and how the labor market testing is also an eligibility criteria where they actually have to go through all that process. So this is one of the requirements that has been added on to that as well. So if you have an employer, you are seeking this kind of information, this could be the information for you. And I would request our viewers to actually share this information and let their friends and families know. Probably you might not want this information, but there will be someone who actually really needs this kind of information.
Exactly, viewers, as just said by Saurabh, that there could be a possibility that particular information is not related to your own scenario, but could be someone else can be benefited by the information shared at this point of time. So we request you to share the video as much as you can, so someone somewhere can be benefited with this information provided. Well, Saurabh, we are talking about the skill migration. We are talking about the occupants. We are talking about the occupations. Well, priority list. We are talking about the state requirements. There is something which is very, very special. A sort of hidden treasure, I must have to say. Talent, right? Everyone is having a talent, and but in order to recognize that talent in Australia, there should be a sort of visa, right?
Uh,
So, so Saurabh, can you please give us some sort of brief about that?
okay, sweet. So as the word says, this global talent visa, where actually it only looks for the talent which is actually globally accepted or it's in high demand. So similar to that, Australia also wants to they want to attract the best and the brightest people to come and live in Australia, which would actually help in the Australian economy as well. Sometimes it's really hard to actually get this kind of talent in particular sectors from the local market. So that's why then they would actually have to go into those details as well. Um, And so I'll quickly go about and just give you a brief introduction, like what this is all about. And so, but this is we call it a global talent visa program, and they are around 7 targeted sectors. They are the big target sectors, and then there under that they will be. I'll just give you a quick example of like what occupation that might fall under. So say for example, so out of those 7 sectors, the first one I would say is actually an agriculture technology, and in that just give me 1 second. So we could be an agriculture scientist in there if it is, and there's a space and advanced manufacturing. So pretty much if you are a space or you are an aeronautical engineer or you are a mechatronics, if you have studied that, you probably be eligible for that as well. I will come up again and later explain like the 2 important factors that comes in place when it comes to global talent visa and what those talents are. So most importantly, when it comes to the biggest field that we have is quantum information and advanced digital data science and ICT occupation. And under this bracket, there is a lot of occupations such as business analyst, software engineer, a data science engineer. So those kind of lot of engineers would actually fall in, even the network administrator. And when it comes to quantum information, there is a mathematician, statistician, a biotechnologist, and also there is a financial technology as well. So where there are occupations such as chief data officers, and they are like the big project managers working in this kind of industry. They are also eligible for that as well. I would come up with I would explain what the eligibility requirements for that one is. And also cyber security, that is also part of it. If you are ICT security specialist, security software developer, as well as even an ethical hacker, you are also there is also part of this kind of cyber operations as well. And as I previously explained, medical laboratory scientist, that also falls into one of these medical technology occupations as well. So what does it mean for that is, even for someone, say a prosthetist who actually designs new dentures and stuff, if they're working on some kind of a new technology, they are also be eligible on something similar to that as well. And when it comes to energy and mining technologies, a mining engineer, a petroleum engineer, so they are plenty of opportunities. There are plenty of occupations. It just you need to know which is better in your scenario. And moving on to the most important requirements of this visa is actually so 2 criteria: whether you can show that you have the ability to attract a salary which is above the Fair Work high income threshold. So the Fair Work high income threshold is sitting at $153,600. So that's annual income. And how you can prove that is by providing pay slips, your job offer, or if you cannot provide, if you don't meet this income threshold, then you need to show that either you are a recent PhD graduate or you must have done a master's degree in research in the similar sector, or you probably be starting to do that, or you're currently doing it and you're about to finish in the next 6 months. So this is what this GTI visa is actually in a nutshell. So once you do apply for it, so how you apply is if you think that you do meet these kind of requirements, you apply with a contact form, and then a GTI officer would actually send you an identifier. You use that identifier to apply for the visa. And this is Ankur is actually the most expedited visa you can ever see. This visa can get granted in less than weeks, in less than like 1 to 2 weeks. Yeah. In some circumstances, depending upon you meet the other eligibility requirements such as health and other stuff as well. So this is what this the global talent visa is all about. And so there are a lot of I do get a lot of people who contact me that to see whether they are actually eligible for this as well. There are a lot of people who are actually working in IT sector currently as a data analyst. They're working in as a data miners, and business analysts and software engineers. They're working on some kind of a very special project that actually helpful, or they have the capability of actually attracting $153,600.
Okay, so that means, as just said, that there is a scope for every talent, right? So this
Exactly.
global talent visa is covering a lot of things, and as been mentioned by our registered migration agent, that the visa can be even granted in less than a week's time. So, viewers, if you are having any sort of inquiry, and if you feel that yes, you are actually into that fitting into that particular talent stream, I request you to please give us a call directly to our registered migration agent Saurabh Smar at 04300 Now, Saurabh, thank you very much for clearing some sort of doubts out of all these state nomination, global talent, this and other related inquiries. Now, come back to the point that we've got our viewers, those who are eager to get the answers for the questions posted. So let's go and check the questions. The first question which we are having from Kamran Nasir. Hi, can you please explain 482 visa employer documents and past 2-year experience document like salary slip or any other document we need to attach with 482 visa? Can you please explain?
Yeah. So Ankur, when it comes to any information pertaining to a particular scenario or individual information, I would request these viewers to actually personally contact me, and then only I can actually advise you, because there's this kind of information is actually only for the educational purpose only, and any advice that you want to seek in particular to your occupation, kindly contact us personally. Send us a message on our Facebook page, or you can send me a WhatsApp message as well, and I am more than happy to respond back to that message. But when it comes to 482, as you're already aware of that, I'll just give you a basic information that the government look into how the business been operating in the last 2 financial years. If it's a new business, or how old the business been operating, how's their finances, whether they actually be able to have a new employee in the business, whether the position has actually been is a genuine position in the business, how the labor marketing testing was done. So there's a lot of factors, and the documents are actually required. Every business is an individual business and requires its own separate documentation. So one set of documentation cannot work for the same employer. So the employer, some documentation might work for employer A, but that's not the case for employer B. So there is no one answer to this question, because we would need to see, what kind of employer it is, and all those kind of factors that comes in play.
So, Kamran, I'm very sorry, because as been said that every situation or every migration situation is different. So we request you to kindly just call Saurabh directly on the given number, and then he'll be more than happy to answer the question which you asked on the public forum. All right, going back next, we've got Savind Khare. Hi, Savind. Thank you very much for posting your question. The question, Saurabh, is, hi, Saurabh, can you please let us know more about skilled migration visa? The occupation which he gave is developer programmer.
Yeah, so the occupation that he has actually advised is developer programmer. And as you know, developer programmer is actually one of the priority skill occupations as well. So it could be, if you are currently employed in your field, and there's pretty much going to be some good news coming out for you in the future as well. But as for other ICT occupations as well, you would need to still make sure that you do have higher points when it comes to general skill migration, if that's what you are after. And yes, so this is, if you want to know about skill migration. So pretty much there's 189, 190, and 491 visas. Every visa has a different requirement. I don't know which state you lie in, so I cannot guide you on what the requirements of that state it is. But there's going to be some benefits coming out in the future for developer programmers, software engineers, and people who are actually currently in that area, in that particular fall in the category of these skilled priorities migration skill occupation list.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Savin Khare has said that if you're having any of the personal migration situation, you can straight away give a call or text or do WhatsApp to Saurabh on the given number, and then he'll be more than happy to assist you further with your personalized inquiry. Going back, we've got Pratik Bhumkar. Thank you, Pratik, for posting your question. The question, Saurabh, for you is, can you define what is priority? Is it early processing or more some sort of quota counts?
Thanks for this question, Pratik. So as we know that the media release, the information that we actually received regarding the priority occupation list was just a media release by the minister. There has not been provided any kind of detailed information that what they actually meant by the priority. It could be that the skilled the employer nomination scheme, if you're planning on applying for these visas, you would be prioritized, or the so there is not much information available in this at this particular time, but pretty much there's going to be more debates and discussions coming up in the next week's time, where we would be able to actually get more information, and then we will be able to explain those answers to you guys as well. And I think with the what I would request our viewers to actually post your questions, and we will more than happy to answer those questions as well. And because time is of an essence, and we probably might not be able to go through each and every questions right on the during the live seminar. But what we will do is I would go ahead, and later on we would be able to actually reply back to your comments and answer your questions in that way. So I'll just quickly take this last question, Ankur, if you don't mind.
Sure, please.
So
Right.
is the so the question is from Adi Putra. They're saying that is the nominated visa Victoria only for those who work in medical support? So as you can read the information that on the Victorian State Nomination website, that they have said that people who are working on health or medical research and contributing to Victoria's economic recovery and health response. So those are the occupations that pretty much they are looking forward to request them to apply for registration of interest. And if you do fall in those, do apply for it. As simple as that. And just the last one from Danielle. He's saying, for those who are in the priority 17 occupations, what is your estimate of points for them? So look, when it comes to priority occupation list, we cannot put a point figure onto these occupations, because these occupations actually come from various diverse backgrounds. As you can see, in the past, registered nurses have received 189 invitations, even at 70, 75 points as well. Whereas even the software engineer has not received any invitation in the last 4 to 5 months. So pretty much we cannot put a point figure to those occupations yet. Let's see how the new round on the 10th of September comes out. And moving forward, then only we would be able to anticipate how the new invitation round is going to be, and what the point estimates will be for those occupations.
Right. Thank you, viewers, and thank you, Saurabh, for giving the answers. And whosoever is having further question, we request you kindly post their questions into the comment box, and then Saurabh personally is going to look after them and going to answer your questions later on. Well, thank you very, very much, Saurabh, for giving us the insight of all the states nomination and the priority list and the global talent visa. Anything would you like to add at the end, please, Saurabh?
That's pretty much all I want to add is that migration sector is actually a very volatile and diverse sector, which keeps on changing every now and then. As you can see, every day we do receive a new update. And sometimes it's really hard for you guys to actually get to know what are the requirements are. And sometimes people don't even know that they are actually eligible for some particular kind of a visa. And so most of the people, Ankur, what I have felt is that they are only aiming for 189, 190, 491. They're not even aware of the fact that there are other visas, such as global talent visas. There are employer-sponsored options available if you are looking into your migration, migration journey. So there's a lot of factors, and there's a lot of options too available. Explore those options. Don't just stick to one option. And if you do have any questions, always make sure you do consult a registered migration agent, and you can actually find them on the website of Office of Migration Agents and Registration Authority. Always make sure to check that their migration agent registration number and whether they are actually registered or not. And do not take any advice from the person who actually is not registered, because that is considered to be a crime in Australia.
Well, viewers, we are ending up this session with a very positive note that explore your options, go with the registered migration agent. Well, if you're having any further inquiry, you can call Saurabh at the given number 0430081804. Global Vision Migration Consultancy. Always there to help you out. Thank you very, very much, viewers. Thanks, Saurabh.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching us. We will be back next Friday with new updates. Talk to you then. Have a good evening and enjoy your weekend. Bye.